So for anybody who's wanting to start some really basic, simple movement, I want to share a couple of moves that you can do to help hip mobility, to improve balance, to strengthen the muscles of the feet, and to help build a little bit of strength. This is something that anyone can do, and you don't need anything at all but a floor space. So at the bottom of this video, I have attached a link to a 15-minute joint work video, which I highly recommend doing before this for a warm-up. So I am not including a warm-up in this video, but please look at the link below and get into your joints before doing this, especially if you are relatively new to any form of movement. It is so important to honor your body. And just do what you can. It's never ever about making it look like anyone else's movement. It's about making it work for you. So the first thing that we're going to start to do after that joint warm up that you've already done is start to focus on some single leg strength and balancing. Now we're going to use a wall because everyone has a wall and everyone's got feet. So we're going to come onto what's called the tripod of the foot. So 60% into the heel and 40% into the balls of the feet. We don't want to put too much weight in the toes, and we want to have a soft knee bend in our standing leg, which is my right. From here, I'm using the wall to hold onto, and I'm just going to start to circle the left hip for 30 seconds. The hip circle does not have to be big at all. It's about listening to your hip, and we're trying to create a certain sense of smoothness into that hip. We also want to start to fire up the glute medius on the standing leg. So for a lot of us, we're in a world where we sit down often and this glute med gets really weak. Beautiful. Let's change direction. So slow circles here. At any moment, you are welcome to put the foot down, right? If it's getting hot into the glutes, great. We never ever want to move into pain. Eventually we want to start to work by getting the hand off the wall. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just giving the legs a little bit of a shake out here and just adding in a few little hip circles here before we change over to the other side. Change direction. So you can just see even by that first movement just how much standing on one foot actually does start to build strength. So again, please use a wall if you need to. I'm going to show it without the wall. Soft knee bend into the left, and we're going to just start to circle through the right hip this time. So if we're not used to standing on one leg, it's going to feel really odd, and we'll find that our balance will be off a little bit. So I want you to keep the weight in that tripod of the foot. So 60% into the heel, 40% into the balls of the foot. You'll use your toes a little bit as well, of course, but try to distribute the weight evenly. Let's change direction. So hip circles back the other way. Try to keep the rest of the body relatively loose and relaxed. Make sure you keep that knee bend into the standing leg. Beautiful, guys. Well done. Bring that foot down. And again, just some light hip circles here. Just flushing that out, maybe starting to feel those legs start to warm up. So we're going to give the legs a little bit of a breather for now. We're going to come into a wall push-up. So again, everyone has a wall. This is a great place to start to build strength, right? So we want to place the hands flat onto the wall. Engage the belly to the backbone, right? So we don't want to go in this position. We want to have a nice long tailbone. Keep pulling the belly button in towards the backbone as if somebody's about to punch you in the stomach. Hands are flat, take an inhale. And then I like to come onto my toes, bending the elbows into the wall. You'll notice I've got a nice flat spine. I'm not coming in like this or like this. So nice flat spine, and then pushing back to the wall. You can bring the hands off like I just did there. So slowly coming in, keeping that really nice long body the whole time. So we're going to go for 8 to 10 of these. That's 3, coming in for 4. Coming in for 5. You can keep your hands on the wall if that's easier. Coming in for 6, belly to spine. We'll go 2 more for this first round. For 7, good, and 1 more to go, and 8. Excellent. Nice work. So we're going to get into the hamstrings and the posterior chain. We're going to come down to the ground, and we really want to find a position where we can drive the heels down into the ground. We're coming into bridge pose. So we want to tuck the tailbone under, pull the belly button towards the spine, hands on the ground, and we're going to peel up from our tailbone through the low back, mid back, and then lift the hips. So squeeze the glutes here, toes are off the ground, and feel the hamstrings activate and slowly peel back down, 1 vertebrae at a time, especially through the lumbar. 7 more repetitions. Push through the heels, start to elevate the hips, squeeze the bum, and then slowly coming back down. Cool, we'll go for 6 more here. So press through heels, squeeze the glutes, slowly coming back down. Again, push through heels, lifting up, squeeze the glutes, slowly coming back down. We'll go 4 more repetitions for today. So up, squeeze, back down. Good, we don't want to rush it. So think about your spine like a string of pearls. So as you're moving through this, you are slowly peeling your spine off the ground, 1 vertebrae at a time, and then replacing it back down like you would a string of pearls. Last repetition here. Slowly coming up and then back down. Beautiful. From this position, we are now going to come up and over. We're working a little bit of a quadruped position here, so a crawling position. Righty, so with that position in the, we want to make sure that we have wide spread hands. So in the comments below, I'm also going to include a wrist and spine mobility video that I would really, again, get, the more familiar you can become with your wrists and spine, the more you do it on your own, the stronger the wrists become. So tuck the tailbone in and up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And from this position, we're actually just going to start to crawl forward. The knees are on the ground, trying to get a contralateral pattern here. And then we're going to start to crawl backward, still pulling that belly button up towards my backbone the whole time. So continuing forward, just going to move this way. Eyes are on the ground and crawling backwards. If anybody wants to make this harder, you can take, of course, your knees off the ground and work into a cat crawl. Again, that is only when you feel confident on the wrists to bring those knees up off the ground. Nice work, everyone. So from this position, we're now going to make our way up to stand, however that is for you. Beautiful, bringing the feet nice and wide, and we're going to work into an open Cossack squat. So the depth of this one is completely up to you. The feet ground down. We're going to slide our hips to the right. It doesn't have to be a deep squat. And then come back through the center. Slide the hips to the left. And then come back to the center. We've got 6 more. Slide the hips to the right. And then come back to center. Slide the hips to the left. And come back to center. So this can be even up here in this space. For some of you, you might like to go a little bit lower, but it's about listening to your knee joints and listening to your body as to what feels safe within your range. It is never, ever about what anybody can do. It is about what you can do in your body to feel safe and develop strength and mobility. Slowly come up out of that one. Beautiful, guys. All right, for the next one, we're going to be working into our upper back. A lot of us tend to spend a lot of time like this, and we end up with shoulders rounded. One of the other problems that we tend to have is we wear shoes a lot, which means that the muscles on the underside of the feet start to collapse. When we have muscles of the underside of the foot collapsing, we end up with no or little arch. The feet roll in, the knees roll in, the hips roll in. that means that we end up with knee surgery because the knee is a hinge joint. The knee is meant to align and move over the ankle joint being a hinge. So if we're spending too much time like this, it means that one, we're putting ourselves at risk of knee and hip surgery. Two, with medially rotated knees and hips, the hips roll inwards, adding computers and devices, we end up with a shape not too dissimilar to this. We want to start to open the upper back and draw the chest open. So this is a really nice movement nearly everyone can do down into the ground. I will give some options and variations, of course. Option number one is just coming up through some oscillating Sphinx poses. So the feet are untucked. Just ignore my right foot near my plants. I'm doing my best in the space I've got here. So as we move through this one, it doesn't even have to be high. So I inhale, come up, and exhale, come back. That is a great starting point. If that feels good for you, you're going to bring your hands out to goalpost arms, bent into the elbows. You're going to inhale, draw the elbows back, and exhale, come back down. Inhale, draw the elbows back, and exhale, come back down. Inhale, draw the elbows back, and exhale, come back down. If you want more, you're going to inhale, draw the hands back, and exhale, come back down. We're going to go 3 more reps. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Rolling onto your side, we're just going to pop in a little bit of hip mobility before you do your second round. So right foot outside left quad, lean back into those hands, transition the knees so that we're now on the other side. So leaning back, slowly tilt to the other side. So moving between internal and external rotation into those hips. There is no need to rush this. It is a beautiful routine for hip mobility. So we'll go for another 30 seconds here. And then it's going to be up to you to do 1 or 2 more rounds of that routine, right? So you can just restart the video again and go back. I've done it in real time for that reason, right? So you can just follow along. And it's always about just starting nice and minimal and doing what you can and repeating the practice. So then we can see a little bit of strength develop over time and we start to become a little bit more familiar and mobile in our bodies. So again, please check the links for the joint work that I have popped in there and the wrist and the spine mobility. But remember, we are up to us. You know, our longevity, our body, our bones, our joints is all up to us. If we do not move it, we lose it. So start little and then be consistent with yourself every day to do something, to look after you from the inside out. I'm Meg. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much. Let me know how you found this video.